mean eating poi and pizza? Who the hell would do that? Eat poi and pizza. Who does that? Idiots do that. You get diarrhea, you go eat poi and pizza.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Poi and Pizza Podcast.
That's right. Aloha, I'm Chris.
And I'm Tony.
We're back with another week of Poi and Pizza. We had the honor of having Chanel Bentosino join us last week. And if you haven't listened to that episode,
make sure you do.
It was a blast, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So, guys, today we get one Hawaiian, one Haole.
Yep.
Our Filipinos out, but we got some fun stuff to go over. There are statues going down everywhere.
Yeah, we've been talking about the statues all over the place and people taking statues down. And personally, I think it's corny a little bit. I mean, the whole...
It's dumb.
Well, yeah, dude, I mean, those statues have been up like forever.
I know. The one that really got me...
Forever.
Dude, this one had me up all night. I mean, the Taco Bell employees snuck over to McDonald's and removed the Ronald McDonald statue overnight.
Yeah.
Overnight. I mean,
but that's an important statue to take down.
It is.
Yeah. The other one that we talked about, right, was the Rocky statue at the top of the stairs in Philadelphia. Like that one, I feel it absolutely needs to be taken down. And in fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Floyd Mayweather went overnight and took it down because Rocky's not the greatest boxer of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one is
the pyramids.
I hear that they're working on trying to get the pyramids taken down.
Because the pyramids were all about slavery and they were monuments to slavery, and so the pyramids should be coming down shortly. So if you guys have a statue, I know the whole thing about McKinley statue coming down. I mean, you guys, let's
Kamehameha statue's coming down right after McKinley's too, since Kamehameha also, King Kamehameha the Great also had kawa, right? That they were slaves. For the most part, that worked for him. So now people are saying that the Kamehameha statue has to come down. If you're going to take the McKinley statue, come down. But
the bull on Wall Street is coming down because PETA has now come forward and said you can't have a bull facing that way. It's
the
just
bull's facing the wrong way.
If you're a statue maker, I'm sorry, you're probably going to be out of business soon.
Yeah. And I heard also in front of my elementary school when I was a kid, there's also a statue of a hook. And that's supposedly the hook that Maui used to pull the islands out of the water.
That is way offensive.
Yeah, that's totally offensive. So we need to get that statue down.
I mean, fish bite hooks.
Fish are friends, not food.
Fish have feelings.
That's right. Fish are friends, not food. So, we need to get that statue taken down at Keokau Elementary School as well. But seriously, guys.
Yeah, let's get working on that.
Come on. Like, how is that going to change anything? If it's an eyesore. I mean, that, Charles Barkley put it best. He put it best when he said, I haven't paid attention to those darn statues in years. But that's not the main issue. How are we going to stop? And this is from Charles Barkley. I'm not quoting exactly, but this is what he said. How are we going to improve the opportunity for blacks to go to universities and to get a higher education? How are we going to improve the job situation? And how is that going to help in terms of blacks killing other blacks? And it's a terrific point. Like what? So when we take all the statues down, now what?
Yeah. And guys, here's a quick point. Okay. If someone doesn't agree with you and they don't see eye to eye on what you say, that doesn't mean they're racist.
Yeah.
That just means they don't agree with you.
Yeah.
If someone likes Trump or likes Obama or likes whoever the hell else it is, it doesn't mean that they're racist just because they don't see. If we're going to talk about tolerance, let's be tolerant all the way around. Let's not only be tolerant when it's convenient for me and tolerant when you agree with me. But when you don't agree with me, now the intolerance can come out.
Right.
So let's just chill with that.
Yeah, because little bit. There's a lot of people that are offended by Chanel because she only likes local boys.
I know. I mean,
I'm sure there's someone out there, and the fact that she only wants them to have a lifted Toyota or a
dropped Honda
then you make her list. So
yeah. And
there's a lot of stuff to get offended about. But you know what happens when people get offended? Nothing.
Zero.
It's okay. It really is okay. Mm-hmm. It's all good, So That's our little rant on the statue.
Yep.
The statue situation, right?
Hashtag save the statues. All of them.
Yeah. Let's save the statues and let's move on to something more important. How about what if we got everybody who wanted to take statues down in the United States? We fly them to Hawaii.
Okay.
And they can start taking down the rail.
Oh my gosh.
That would be a great idea.
Huge monument to not moving forward.
Let's work on the rail. Yeah. Let's take the rail down.
Yes. Let's go paint it red. We'll spray paint the things red.
Let's fly all the people here from all over the country. Can you guys please come and help us take down the rail?
So, speaking of rail, that actually brings up a good point because you guys, you know that this podcast is about life, ohana, and business, and just living here on the Big Island. And I want to know your opinion because right now they're in legislation and they're talking about, do we take the outer islands, the neighbor islands, and do we take their money and their taxes and put it towards rail? Now, I find that to be just an absurd statement. Why would we have to pay for the rail on Oahu when we're not going to use it?
Yeah.
And how we do pay for it is if, in the event we do fly to Oahu and it's finished in the next 22 years and we use the rail, we have to pay to use it. Right?
Yeah.
There's that toll or the fee or whatever. That's how you get our money, is when we actually use it. We're not going to pay for the, well, we may pay because depend, but you know.
We have no say, man.
Yeah. What's your thought on this?
We really have no say. Well, I feel the same as you. I think it's ridiculous, and I've said it before on this podcast. Dude, like Hawaii freaking tags us for everything, man. Like safety check and bottle caps. Like we talked about that stuff.
The bottle caps.
Like
I'm gonna fine you for recycling.
Yeah, those darn bottle taxes. This is the same thing, right? It's like we didn't get the vote on it. We had no say in whether it should be built or not, and now they want us to pay for it. Like, come on, it's ridiculous. Like, there's no way. I'm assuming, and I'm hoping that our elected officials, because they were elected
by
to
us,
represent the Big Island, right? By us, by people who vote, like me and Tony, right? We vote. So, like Uncle Gil Kahele said, if you no vote, no grumble. So, because we vote, we get to grumble a little bit. We get to grumble a little bit. So, we're hoping that our elected officials are going to represent us, bro, on the outer islands and say no to this. And
you should reach out to your elected officials and tell them to represent us. Tell them how you want, tell them what you're feeling and if you want the money to go to rail or not. The only way they know is if they hear from us and if we say it loud enough and consistent enough.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's more stuff going on the Big Island, you guys. A lot. We had some fun stuff to talk about this weekend, but there's just some other stuff that happened that is very disturbing. And why don't you lead off with this?
Yeah, and it's still kind of, to me, it's still kind of funny because it's a joke. It is. Where they're talking about they've already, the mayor has already notified Auntie Luana Kavelu, who is the president of the Merrie Monarch Festival, and told her that basically halaus are not going to be able to use the gyms anymore. They cited some violation of some fire codes or whatever, and they've been using these gyms for years now, these public facilities for years, and now all of a sudden they're saying go up to Mauna Kea or whatever, which is, come on, like that's kind of a poor option. But I put the question out on my Facebook, trying to get some responses, and there are actually some people who had some great points for the other side. Like, I'm totally against it. I think it's silly. I think we can make minor changes to help these halau out because, dude, I mean, the Merrie Monarch is the Super Bowl for the Big Island. This is, if a city has a Super Bowl, right? If a city's awarded a Super Bowl, they are gonna bend over backwards to make it work for this event. But it's weird.
Because the economic impact that has on the city. Yes.
It's huge, but it's weird where, this just feels like they're just trying to put a barrier in the way. But there was, a couple people, a good friend of mine who messaged me. He didn't want to really put it on my Facebook feed. And he's right. He said, well, I don't think it's any one person trying to get back at another person. I think it's just it's the rules, and they're being a little bit, this administration wants to abide by the rules a little bit more, whatever that means. But he's right. I get it. It is the rules. But dude, come on. Like, one of the people on my feed said, let's install smoke detectors, at least to start.
Right.
As we go on, we can add sprinklers and stuff. But to start, we could have a smoke detector. Have smoke detectors, stuff like that. But realistically, like, we should bring these buildings up to code.
We should, because these buildings are being held as emergency shelters.
Right.
So how is it okay to be an emergency shelter, but it's not okay to shelter people for a festival? It just doesn't make any sense. And for those of you that have driven Saddle Road at night, it's dangerous. It's dangerous during the day in bright daylight. People aren't paying attention. They're on their phones. But at night,
at 12 a.m.
At 12 a.m. it is very dangerous. And at 12 a.m. after performing throughout the night. So it's not a feasible option. We have reached out to the mayor's office to get a statement from them. We have not received a statement from them, but we're impartial. So if we get a statement from the mayor's office, we will gladly share that with you guys and let you know really where the county is standing on this. From the information that we have been given, it sounds like BS, and it sounds like that our elected mayor just.
He's putting the screws to the people, man.
He is. He really is. He really is. So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the news about the Merrie Monarch and the Halaus not being able to use the gyms to stay?
Yeah, we gotta accommodate them. We need to find a way to accommodate. Whether here's the thing with rules is, like, there's always a workaround. There's always a way that you can work around the rules. Not let it slide. I'm not saying you let them slide so that it's unsafe, but there's a way to work around it. So, for example, like, a couple of the things that I kind of shared was, you could add smoke detectors. You could have 24-hour trained security that, in the case of any emergency, they know how to respond. There's a lot of different ways. It's not like they're going to be there forever. They're there for a week, and then they're gone. But there are a lot of different ways that we can help the Halau. My cousin, one of my cousins made a great point. He said, this is like the world championship of hula. So, like, we need to make this work. So,
they've been working around it for years.
Yeah.
But why now? My question is, why now? Why is this an issue now?
Yeah. So I have a friend who used to work in the county, and he said, he believes that it's just somebody trying to stick it to someone else, or if it's not that, it's the current administration trying to say, we're not gonna be like the last administration. We're gonna do it the right way. It's just them putting the screws to the people and not working with the people. And that's the crappy part about it. Is like, they just, I get it. It is a rule, but come on, like, there's a workaround for it. Like, we don't have to just say, oh, no can, right? Because in today's world, today is a world of how can instead of no can, and that's something that I've shared, and I'm very passionate about it, not because, of the cultural aspect, although that's a big part of it for me, but it's particularly like, these Halau, they spend all of this money to come here, right? A ton of cash. They raise a ton of cash.
They spend a lot when they're here.
You're right, and they leave their families, for that week to be here. So they make a commitment to that event because they love the event. The event is here, and we're basically telling them, hey, thanks for all the money, but you got to go sleep somewhere else. Yeah. So that's my big issue.
You have to sleep an hour away.
Yeah, it's
on
very
a dangerous road.
It's not the. We should be showing more appreciation. Now, from what I hear, some of the Halau already go back and forth to Waikolo. I don't know how true that is, but I know that there's also a lot of wonderful people who are saying, I will help to house them if we cannot resolve this issue with the county. So hopefully the county, works with the people. There are workarounds. Like, let's not fool ourselves. There are ways that we can make it work. So hopefully they do it, man.
I hope so. So.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah. So, did you have a good weekend other than...
Yeah, dude, I know it's been a crazy beginning, right, to this podcast, just because there's a lot to talk about over the weekend. I had a great weekend, super busy weekend, but it was terrific. Friday night, I got to go to the Naniloa where they have Pauhana Fridays every night, every Friday. So we went there on Friday.
I saw the picture of your drink, you jerk.
Yeah, dude, I know.
Yeah, I was sitting at home, and I see this picture of a nice martini and whatever else you had.
Martini. I don't drink martinis, man.
What was it?
It was a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, there you go.
Made by Holly Pila, by the way. If you guys want a great Long Island iced tea, Holly's the girl. But
yeah,
good.
I always get made fun of because I'm not a beer drinker.
Yeah.
And look, don't hold it against me. I'm a frou-frou drinky kind of guy. Like, if it's got an umbrella and it's fruity and it's like, I'm down with that. I don't drink beer. I don't like the taste of it. You know, my wife, guys, I know we talk about this all the time where I guess she's the dude in our marriage and I'm the wife because she hacks down trees. I do laundry. She can suck them up with the beers, and here I am with the pinky in the air with the, with the frou-frou drink. But nah, man, I'll do a Moscow Mule. I like that with ginger beer and vodka.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of vodka, but I'm not a beer dude.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I guess as I've gotten older, I'm not so much of a beer guy as much. But I'll still drink beer, but just not as much.
Yeah. What's your favorite drink?
Used to. I like to start with Long Island's, and then I'll move over to beer after that.
Oh man, Long Island's.
Yeah, well, I like to start with it.
I like to start with the hardest thing they can possibly make.
Well, no, because there's a saying that goes,
beer before liquor, never sicker.
No, beer before liquor makes you sicker.
Oh,
liquor before beer, you're in the clear. So that's why I try to make sure to have my liquor before I have the beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just have liquor on liquor. I can't get to the beer. I'll sip a beer and I'm like,
I'll drink a Lihing Mui Mai Tai every now and then.
Thank you.
I love those.
Thank you.
I love those too. I like that drink a lot. So
yeah, I used to love Amaretto sours, but then people, started calling me sissy and and like, here, have a beer. I'm like, I would drink some and I'd give it to my wife. She'd drink it and hand me back the glass. I'm like, oh, that was a good beer, guys.
Yeah. I moved from Budweiser to Bud Dry to Bud Light to Heineken to Corona. So I moved beers over the years. And now I'm more into the hard liquor and stuff. I mean,
it totally makes you sound like an alcoholic.
I know. I went the wrong way.
I'm totally into hard liquor now.
Yum. Yum.
So, dude,
give him a little of that.
Friday was statehood day, right? Or, well, depending on who you are, it may not be statehood day.
Not to me.
Anyways, it was another day off, right?
Okay.
And so I take the girls to Coconut Island. And gosh, dude, my girls are so polar opposite. Ziggy is just such a sissy. I love her to death, but she is just, I cannot walk so far. Oh, my eyes burn. So she's the type that will sit up and just play on the sand and whatever, and Anu's in the water. But dude, we're going over to Coconut Island, and you ever have the person where you go to the grocery store and they're loading up their car and the parking lot is packed full, and you're waiting, and you make eye contact with them. They know you're waiting for their spot. You're kind of like, oh, hi, I'm waiting for this spot. And they take their sweet ass time, and they're like, just take forever.
Yeah.
So we show up to Coconut Island. It's freaking packed. It's sunny. It's blistering hot. There's one shade area, and this lady is wrapping up. And I asked, I said, oh, are you guys leaving by chance? And she goes, oh yeah. I said, oh, good, because no more shade. So I'll just wait till you're done and grab the shade spot. I kid you not. She takes 28 minutes to leave. She sits there, and her kid, shows up, and he sits down in the chair. She's like, oh, come on, and he's like, no. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's standing there like waiting, and the kid's like sitting on the chair with a phone, and he's like 10 on a phone, and I'm sitting here and I'm just sweating hot because I don't want to go in the water because as soon as they leave, I need that spot, right? Because it's shade. So I'm sitting there, and the girls are like, can we get in? Can we get in? I'm like, so guy, look, if you know someone, if you're ready to leave, leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you know someone's waiting for your stuff, leave.
Yeah, don't fake out.
Goodness.
Don't fake it out. Yeah, so I have a funny story similar to that. This past weekend, on Saturday, I had a fantasy football draft. So my two daughters, right, 115, 112, they went with my niece, and so my niece took them up to a family party that we had. But in the meantime, before she went to the family party, she went to KTA, I believe, and there was some dude that was in front of her, I guess, when they were heading to KTA, somewhere in that area. And same situation. The guy's like, I guess he dropped off his wife or something at the front at the farmer's market
Oh,
area.
Yeah.
So she's behind the car, and then my niece is impatient, right? So my daughters are with her. My niece is impatient, right? So she hits the horn.
Her already.
She hits the horn. Bap. The guy ignores her. So she's she's kind of getting heated. She's like, come on, dude, like move. Bap. She hits the horn again. So my daughter's over there, right, pumping her up. Like, oh, get him. He's not doing anything. He's not moving or whatever, right? She's like really, so my niece is, right? Instigating, right? So my niece is steaming, right? So finally she goes, right? She like hits the horn really hard. and the guy puts a middle finger up inside of his car like this. I guess assuming that she wasn't going to see, and okay, my niece is tera, okay, she's like super tera. So the guy did this to her, put the middle finger up, and then my daughter instigating, oi, you see that, right? So my niece is getting pumped up. She's all like, oh, what? So then she ends up, she sticks her hand out. She shows me her finger back, and she's like, F you too. And she's like going off, F you, like yelling, and so she's telling me the story, and I'm like laughing, and then I go ask my daughter the story, and then I'm laughing with her too. And she's like, F you, sticking her hand out. So then the guy starts moving, right? He's like, oh damn, like mistake.
She gonna work me.
Yeah. So dude, whoever you are, I don't know who you are, but like she was pretty pissed. So he starts driving, right, and then they get to where you turn in. Yeah. Right. So my niece is like, so my daughter's like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna turn in, like instigating some more. So my niece is like, yeah, turn. So she like puts the blinker up, and she's like, come on, turn. The guy's in front of her.
Get out,
like,
get
come
out.
On, get turn right now, I'm gonna turn. Right? So like she's all pumped up, and then the guy leaves, and then she turns in, and then they go in the store, get all their stuff. She comes back, and the car is in the parking lot, and she's like, that's the car, and then she goes, and I got it scrubbed. He all the way around because he never like deal with me. So like she's like just losing it. And my daughter is like, oh my God, it's so hilarious. And I told her,
Hina or Tahi?
Hina. I'm like, you cannot instigate. Don't instigate. But anyway, like that's kind of my story this past week.
You gonna let him muscle you around like that?
Yeah. Did you see what he just did to you?
Oh my God.
Are you gonna let him get away with that? But anyway, yeah. So that was my niece Castle, and we started laughing. Actually, we should have her on as a guest. Like she would be a super fun guest to have on.
Yeah. Hey, what do you guys think? For those of you that watch the show, tell us your thoughts on Chanel. We'd love to have her back.
Yeah.
Want to know, kind of want to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, and if there's anyone out there, that we make people famous. So
check.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. That's gonna. Should we get into some shout outs?
Shout outs, yeah, okay.
Yeah. As always, you guys, Aloha Grown, mahalo to them. Our wardrobe sponsor, parkerranchstores.com/Aloha Grown. Thank you to them. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Blue Zones Project.
Okay. Good on.
This Friday, they are having their Kona celebration. Saturday. On Saturday, they're going to have the Kona celebration. So now they have went island wide, north, south, east, west. They're covering the entire island, just bringing a healthier, more well-rounded island or philosophy to the island. So shout out to all those that are putting in the work. I know how hard you guys work and the time that you put in. So kudos to you and the Blue Zones Project.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to give my shout out today. So my neighbor is one of these guys, but I'm gonna give a shout out today to all of the statue makers because it takes a lot of work to make a statue. My neighbor is like he creates amazing sculptures, like these huge statues, dude, and it takes him months. So like for people to go and like freaking rip these statues down, it's like, guys, like there's a lot of work that went into making this statue. So my shout out goes out to Henry Bianchini, my neighbor who makes these incredible statues for the state. And in fact, I believe he might have even made one of the Kamehameha statues or something like that. He said like one of the replica ones. But to all of the statue makers, some of us appreciate the work that you do because I know it takes a long, long time to do.
Remember that before you tear down a statue.
Yeah, that's right. We're appreciating statue makers today, man. Great job, statue makers.
Oh, that's going to do it for us, you guys.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time. Keep your pizza hot and your poi fresh. Aloha.
Aloha.
What do you mean eating poi and pizza? Who the hell would do that? Eat poi and pizza. Who does that? Idiots do that. You get diarrhea, you go eat poi and pizza.